Hello again, Year 4. Welcome back for session 3 of this week's English lessons focused on our eyewitness reports. So far this week, we've had a really good look at some good examples of what an eyewitness report looks like. And we've now used that as kind of a bit of a success criteria checklist for us. So now we know all of the things that we're going to need to include in ours. Yesterday, we became eyewitnesses to an extraordinary event of Augustus Gloop falling in the Chocolate River. And we created our plans yesterday. So now we know exactly the order that we're going to be writing things in. So today, we're going to be using those plans to help us to write the first 2 paragraphs of our eyewitness report. We're going to break that down into just 1 paragraph at a time to begin with. Okay, so you can see on the screen here, I'm just looking at the first box on my planner from yesterday. Okay, my introduction. And I'm going to have that, I've had that alongside me while I've been writing my example. And also it would be a really good idea if at this stage of the lesson you watch that event again. Okay, it'll be a really good idea to be the eyewitness again. Remember to watch it from your character's viewpoint. So when I watched this video again, I watched exactly what Willy Wonka was doing, what Willy Wonka was saying, his reactions to things, to get an idea of his feelings and thoughts. Okay, listened really closely to the sounds and the events of and the order of things that happened. Okay, so it's a really good idea to stop the video here again. Okay, go back over to the Google Drive, load up that PowerPoint again, and click on the link to be able to watch that scene and watch it from your character's viewpoint. Okay, so pause me now and enjoy. Okay, so hopefully you have watched again the scene from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and you watched it through your character's eyes, so you've got a really good understanding of exactly what they were doing, what they were feeling, what they could hear. Okay, so thinking about today then, we know that one of the features of a eyewitness report is that we need to include those adverbs of time. Okay, so it would be a really good idea while you're writing to not only have your plan alongside you, but also to keep this screen up as well, so that you can use these as some sentence starters, just like we do in school. And you can use these as a guide for what you're going to write and in the order that you're going to write it in. Okay, not all of them are adverbs of time. Some of them are just some really good sentence starters that would be typical to an eyewitness report. Okay, so keep that screen up. As always, I have done a written example for you in order to help you with your example. So this is just my introduction. See if you can spot those adverbs of time as I've been writing it. Initially, it all started in my glorious chocolate room, the jewel of my factory. Veruca, Augustus, Mike, Charlie, and their parents were all there, except for that old guy with the bucket kid. That's his granddad. When I was minding my own business underneath the toffee apple tree. To my delight, the guests were amazed at what they saw, so I was getting stuck into explaining the amazing sights around them. Irritatingly, that fat kid was not interested and was wandering around aimlessly. All of a sudden, I heard Mrs. Gloop shouting and hollering. So use that as a guide, as a model for yours. Pause the video here and have a go at writing your introduction for your eyewitness report. Good luck. I'll see you in a minute when you're done. So hopefully you've written your first paragraph and you've got an introduction that you're really proud of using those adverbs of time to help you. Okay. For our next paragraph, we're going to focus on another one of those features that was in our success criteria back on Monday, using prepositional phrases. And in the box down here, you can see I've listed again some different prepositional phrases that might help you as a guide for when you're writing yours. I've purposely chosen the preposition words under, besides, on, above, behind, next to, but I've added some detail from the factory that would be relevant to our scene that we've been using here. So instead of just under, I've said under the creamy surface. Okay, you don't have to use that exact phrase. Perhaps you could change that for something else that's in that scene there. But if you want to use it, that's absolutely fine. Beside the churning river, on the riverbank, above his greedy head, behind him, next to the river. All of those are prepositional phrases that will really help you to structure the next paragraph. So moving down in your plan then, you can see this time I've now got the next section of my plan, the first main paragraph to tell the events of what's happened. So I'm going to keep my plan alongside me while I'm writing, and each of the points that I've popped into my plan I will piece into sentences to help me structure my eyewitness report. So, as always, here's my example. So, following on from my introduction that I've just read to you, beside the churning river, there's an example of that prepositional phrase. Beside the churning river, the gloop child's buttocks wobbled hypnotically as he scooped his greedy hands into my beloved chocolate. On the riverbank, the guests watched on in horror as that greedy thing continued to dip his dirty, contaminated hands under the creamy surface. Without warning, he lost his balance and fell headfirst into the delicious, churning chocolate. My precious chocolate was contaminated. He began thrashing frantically, trying to get to the surface, leaning over the side of the river. Charlie tried to help him. However, Gloop's pudgy hands slipped and he sank beneath the thick, oozing chocolate. So, prepositional phrases included at the start of some of those sentences, not all. I've tried to include some different adverbs of time in there as well. Okay, so you can see without warning. I've also got a conjunction there as well, however. So I'm thinking about my different sentence openers. But I've written the order of the events as they've happened, as Willy Wonka will have witnessed them. Okay, I've also tried to get a bit of his opinion in there as well. See if you can spot that. Okay, so that's it for today's session. By the end of today's session, you will have written 2 paragraphs of your eyewitness report, focusing on your prepositional phrases, but also the different ways you can start your sentences, particularly with adverbs of time. Good luck. I look forward to reading them. See you soon.